Hold on a second.
I think stream just exploded.
Stream just exploded for a second. That was odd.
Temporary stream explosion.
And
sorry, I destabilized the stream.
And yet,
damn my quantum abilities.
Stream comes back too.
And yet somehow we didn't drop a frame. Sorry about the technical difficulties there. I don't think it was an ad that nuked us. I don't know what happened.
I think it was collateral.
Yeah, might have been the collateral pool, but I'm just sitting on here waiting to add one more die to.
Oof.
Oh no!
Oh, big oof.
So
Welcome, y'all. We exploded temporarily. We return.
So the last thing you were asking before the stream exploded about the caves running
under the entire city.
Yeah, and the river and St. Paul, in fact.
So anything that happened in the cave system could destabilize the entire city and cause an earthquake. We need to get down there, Nixie.
You know, we hadn't thought of that. Maybe we should call Project Utopia.
Those jerkwads.
I mean, if they pick up the phone, tell them I say hi and to stop calling me. Have a good one.
We don't have time for them. Go ahead and call them, but do me a favor. Tell them that Sovereign has a question for them. Is their refrigerator running? And he's gonna punch through the top of the... That's so dumb. I'm sorry.
So you're
you're
gonna punch your way into the cave. Mouth is open. There's nothing you have to punch. Are you going to just punch because, or?
Is your refrigerator running? Walk.
Can I borrow your flashlight?
Sure. He hands you a flashlight.
Thanks. I'll probably give it back later. Have a good one.
You too.
Dramatic floaty waddle off. Click on a flashlight.
Excellent.
Cue the Kevin MacLeod sneaky snitch music.
You start making your way into these caves. Is there anything that you would like to rely on to track any individuals that might be through here? Any particular skill you would like to try to leverage?
Useful powers for this? None exist over here on this end. No.
What about just basic skills? Like, for example, survival can be used as a tracking skill.
Probably listening for folks, doing a bit of tracking, complaining a lot about being in a cave and being very loud about it, walking through a cave in heels.
Sure. You can give either survival would be like if you're relying on sort of traditional tracking techniques, or integrity if you're just trying to pick up on like basic clues that might be around.
I think.
Integrity. I'll help with that.
Doesn't know what survival is, but certainly has integrity. Let's go for integrity.
All right. And then you would apply the most relevant attribute to it if you're
cunning or
relying on,
maybe.
If you're relying on sort of being quick-witted, cunning would be appropriate. If you're taking your time and sort of analyzing the area, that would be more of an intellect role.
Yeah, analysis is for cheapo suckers. So let's. Oh wow. Okay, so I actually have 3 successes somehow.
Excellent.
What the heck? They're all 9s too. It was cute.
It's awesome.
9.
Anything for Sovereign?
Oh, actually, hold on. One success.
Excellent. Sovereign, you notice very clearly there are a number of, despite the policies of the park district, there are a number of sort of chalk markings on the various rock formations down here, different colors, and many of them are faded. But you definitely pick out one set of pink chalk markings that look like they're pretty fresh, like they were done recently. And that's
pretty
enough
fresh.
to sort of point you in the right direction.
Bing, bing.
As you're moving along, Nixie, you're able to spot not only footprints, but you're able to identify that there are 3 separate people. And you're able to spot a place that's sort of a fork in the cave where the cave network opens up into a wider sort of well explored, well traveled, bigger cave. You can see there's a lot of footprints in there. People have been walking in and out and around this cave quite a bit. But where the entrance to that cave is, there's a fork where it's more of a narrow crevice. It's wide enough for a adult to pass through if they shimmy. But you also can see that there are footprints leading into that crevice.
Well, for some reason they went into this spot. Look at this. It's ridiculous. Wear a sports bra to get through here. Cripes.
Yeah, me too. The Adonis physique.
The things we do for baselines. Squish. Shimmy, 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 shimmy.
I'm just seeing like eyes, like everything. But you manage through your way through the tunnel. It's a tight fit, but you're able to do it, and it's probably about a 20-foot length of this tightness. As you get on the other side of it, you almost immediately come upon what looks like the remnants of a camp. There are burnt logs, like somebody had made some kind of a fire here. There's some discarded food wrappers, several discarded like beer cans, like Coors Light and Pabst Blue Ribbon cans. And let's get one more survival check from both of you, if you don't mind.
Sure. The best plan. Going into a hole in the ground and getting hammered.
2.
2.
Excellent. And you both very clearly notice a set of tracks that seems to have made its way from deeper in the caves that you're fairly certain is a bear.
Are you serious?
You also find some blood spots on the ground beyond the camp. Kind of the bear tracks didn't make it all the way up to the camp. You see some blood spots on the ground near where the bear tracks ended, and the tracks go off deeper into another cave of the bear. Interestingly, the blood also goes in that direction.
Wow.
It looks like
I've always
this
wanted to
bear
wrestle a
raided
bear
them.
naked. I know it.
I would watch that. That would be a good use of my time. I always wanted to punch a bear, actually. I guess he raided their picnic basket.
Karaoke. All right. So,
This bear might be high on power bars and quantum bars, though. They
So
give some
for
rappers.
taking a look at their camp here, are there any other sources of light in here? Like, do they have any lanterns or stuff scattered around in this area?
you find some discarded and largely inert at this point glow sticks, but nothing
They
else.
only have glow sticks. How do
Yeah,
they?
they should have.
How do they even survive this long?
Maybe they were having those. Maybe they had those wearable flashlights, the clip-ons.
Oh, I love those things.
How does the bear see inside of here? This is a really dark.
The bear.
Bears.
Uses echolocation or something. I don't know.
I don't think that. I mean, maybe I don't know anything about bears either.
I mean, neither do I.
I know they like honey. Let's go.
Are you going to?
After you?
Are you going to follow the trail where the blood drops and the bear tracks go, or are you going to go for the direction that the bear came from?
Let's go the direction the blood is going, because there might be immediate lives to save there. But because as they're going, Sovereign's going to share his theory. My theory with this is that these kids came down here and maybe one of them erupted and is causing the trouble.
Could be.
Alternatively,
I actually have a mechanic question.
Sure.
So, secret information just for you, Travis. Kelly, cover your ears. This is basically a very specific situation. You don't actually have to cover your ears, but I guess you did. It's too late. This is like very specifically a situation
wave when I
Nixie
can
is
listen,
terrified by, right? Like she can't really catch a shadow down here if this light goes out.
Right.
This is literally her weakness, is being in a freaking cave. So she's probably trying very hard to not showcase this anxiety or anything like that. But I'm wondering if there are pools or mechanics things I should do for this, or if I should just keep acting kind of nervous and hoping that it gets picked up on.
In the event that it would impact you mechanically, I might add a complication to one of your rolls.
That sounds good, because she's scared.
That would be how that would work. I would also point out, because Nixie would certainly notice this, there's enough dry wood left over unburnt in that campfire that you could easily make a torch if you wanted to.
You know, let's pause and do that just in case. Just for additional. She's got a couple of lighters in her bag. She's got another flashlight in there. But what if she goes into the ocean for some reason and there's no source of light at all? That would be the worst.
Excellent. So you spark up the torch and begin making your way after that blood trail.
Sounds good. We should inform Kelly to put headphones back on. You really didn't need to avoid this.
am I back?
Yeah,
You probably didn't necessarily need to avoid it, but that was very cute. Yes, you're back.
You do note Nixie takes a few steps and then stops and comes back and picks up some of the leftover campfire wood and makes a makeshift torch out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's super neat.
Lots of lighters in my bag.
I see.
As you go down probably 60 feet in that direction, the blood gets thicker and more frequent. And then you see the lower half, like up or kind of almost around a corner, you see the lower half of a bear sticking out, laying on its side from behind a rock.
Oh, it's attached to a front half. Okay.
Yeah, it's not just half a bear.
I was like, oh, balls.
No,
It's bare bottom.
there's a rock that's blocking your view of the top of the bear, but you can step around if you so choose.
Yeah, totally.
Let's go like full sneak mode. We gotta be like dun.
As you slowly make your way around and the firelight dances around the rock, you see that there's a stalactite driven through the bear's upper torso.
Yep, called it Nova.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Looks like he couldn't bear to be impaled. I'm really glad it's you here while I'm working on my material. Because if the baselines...
I'm glad you're here too.
All right.
Thank you so much for the raid, Comrade Bubbles. So
Let's keep going.
if you'd like, you can look this over for clues, or you can keep moving along. This seems to be an end of the cave network, as if this bear was impaled and then sort of crawled away to die.
Huh.
I see. Well.
Where
So there's no...
Go ahead.
Where do the kids go then?
I don't know. There's no way out of here, right?
This particular cavern, no.
They must have gone the other way. We should hurry.
All right. You turn back and start heading back around, start going the way that the bear came from. When you realize after probably 100 feet 150 feet. The footprints pick back up.
All right. Shall we?
After you? Nervously smiles at you.
All right. Puffs chest out, gets ready to take any hit around a corner, and let's go.
Excellent. As you're moving along, why don't you give me... Let's do integrity. Let's just do straight integrity. I think would be probably the most appropriate for this.
One success.
Excellent.
Oh, should I do this too?
Yeah, both of you can go ahead and make this roll.
2.
You both hear whimpering, echoing throughout the cave. Sovereign, you haven't the foggiest idea where it's originating. You just hear that it's echoing. Seems fairly loud.
Hello?
Kind of a pained whimper. Nixie, you're pretty sure you have the direction on it as eastward, deeper into the cave.
Let's sort of steer Sovereign, like a particularly large bus, towards it.
All right.
Peering up over your shoulder.
After you move about another 200 feet or so through the cavern, you hear, wait, what is that? Is that a light? Is that a light? Help!
Have no fear. We're here to help.
Please! I need you... you have danger sense, Nixie.
Mm-hmm.
You get the impression that things are about to get real hectic real quick.
Gonna put a hand on Sovereign's shoulder. Careful.
The rocks all around you begin to shake and shimmy. Please help, I'm scared. I don't know what's happening.
Called it.
You'll be okay. Stay calm. We're costumed heroes here to save you. For real.
Are you Team Tomorrow?
No, we're something better.
Something like that.
The rocks shake again.
It's all right. We are here.
Go
You're
ahead.
going to be fine.
Go ahead and make a command roll, please.
All right. Command and... Oh, I only have 9 dice for this.
Oh, that's all?
Nova Vigilance. I feel like that might get a mixed reaction.
Right? And in true fashion of high dice pools, that's only 3 successes with Mega Presence 1.
Excellent. Still sufficient. The rocks do stop shaking, and
All right.
you hear like a sound of, though it's not affecting the rocks around you, it's not affecting the cavern walls. You hear a sound like stone grinding on stone. As a probably 8-foot tall figure, humanoid, made entirely of granite, steps around the corner.
Oh. Hey, big guy, how's it going?
My friends are
Gonna do a
hurt.
little pirouette and a bow. Nixie Midnight, good to meet you. Take me to your friends.
Sovereign.
A bear attacked. My name's Joey. A bear attacked.
Good to meet you, Joey.
We were just drinking and fun, and a bear came, and I wanted it to get away from my friends, and then, oh God, I've turned into this thing. He falls to his knees.
Hey, you're no thing. You're a Nova.
Thanks, Sovereign. I'm gonna go see if I can find the other kids.
You see about another 20 feet deeper into that little subsection of cave, you see two people, look like they're late teens, maybe early 20s. Young man, young lady. The young lady has a makeshift splint that appears to be made from like unburnt firewood that had been cracked in half and then tied off with like a shirt sleeve on her leg.
Gonna do the same little pirouette introduction. Very clever of you to make the splint. How are you two doing?
I think my leg's broken. We couldn't get out because Joey is too wide and I can't walk.
It's okay. We can get you out. Say awkwardly looking up the rules for a power.
Joey is looking at Sovereign. He says, "I tried to make a exit."
Hey, it's okay. You're still doing baby steps. Sometimes it takes a while to learn how to use your newfound abilities. Even God took 7 days, right?
He nods.
You're gonna be fine. Your friends are gonna be fine. The bear's fucked. Good job.
Thanks. I was worried it was gonna come back.
No, you fucked it up right proper.
He kind of looks at you like he's not sure whether to be grateful or terrified. As are you? So you said you were looking up a power, Nixie.
I was looking up specifics on teleport.
You can probably max out to do more stuff.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, I was just sort of looking at it, and some of the rules are that it has to be line of sight or especially well known to the Nova, which means like, are we teleporting to like Nixie's apartment?
That would be one option, or if you
so
have
the tags that I have are impose and interplanetary. I don't actually have distance. I don't think I can go across the city, but I can go to the moon.
no teleportation. If you don't have the interplanetary tag, you can go anywhere on the planet.
Okay.
So that's
so go to the.
You just got to know
where do you know
going.
really well? The Prince Museum.
Yeah, Paisley Park.
Oh wait, hang on. There is actually a Prince Museum here, isn't there?
Yeah, we're in Minneapolis.
It's 100% the Prince Museum. Absolutely.
The only person Sovereign bows to.
Yeah.
I've decided now that the Sovereign's outfit is very, very like puce purple.
Very purple, very good, excellent.
Oh, excellent.
I think if we get through this entire chronicle and we have not dumped some adversary into the lake with the phrase, "Why don't you purify yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka?" I think we might have failed.
And if something goes wrong, I know that you got the perfect quote. This is what it sounds like when doves cry.
What?
Well,
We should have a character named Dove.
Oh, there's still time. Force Bianca to change her name.
That's true. There is still time. Yeah.
So just so that
All
I'm
right.
clear on the plan, you're going to gather the survivors and you're going to teleport to Paisley Park.
I think maybe one at a time to avoid, because I think I can only do one at a time with impose, right? Target within close range teleport the target up to their maximum distance. Requires a quantum teleport roll against their defense.
Correct.
Is that only one target?
You can split your dice pool effectively to target more people. You can also, none of these are unwilling targets. So you can effectively just at the cost of the power, pop them one at a time. That's fine.
Okay, let's do it that way. That feels like it's a little bit safer. And then she's going to probably start with the person whose leg is broken.
Okay.
And then take a moment to like, call the authorities. Be like, hey, I'm bringing 2 more. We found the kids you're looking for.
You're taking them to the Prince Museum?
Don't worry about it.
As the last of you arrive at Paisley Park, and you are actually listening to what it sounds like when the doves cry due to the various doves that are the habitat there. Joey just walks over to Nixie and goes to put a hand on her shoulder for a moment, and pulls back and says, "Thank you."
I'm tougher than I look. Go for it, big guy.
It doesn't make me less scared.
Can I give you a hug?
You may.
He's going to do that. And then tell him that it's going to be okay. I'm going to go for a big squish.
Excellent. He is certainly not squishy, but you can squish yourself upon him to your heart's content.
Yeah. I mean, she may not have intellect or might, but boy, howdy, does she have resolve, stamina, and composure. She's built like a truck.
Wonderful. The first responders to arrive are actually the on-site EMTs.
Yeah.
They
I spent to get Sovereign out too, so you get poofed as well.
Yay!
they immediately begin administering first aid. Shortly after that, the police arrive. A couple of uniforms in a squad, and they step out and say, "What's going on here?"
Just saving the day, officers. Something that you're probably acquainted with.
Fair enough. Who's this? They point at Joey.
Yeah, we're still working on his name. The Rock? No, that's been taken.
Is this is this a newly erupted nova?
Is the legislation in this state the one that...
That's in Wisconsin.
Yes, he erupted due to the earthquake. Helped stabilize it.
They kind of look at each other, and the second officer says, "Sir, would you like transport to the nearest Rashad facility?" And Joey kind of looks at Sovereign and Nixie, clearly confused.
Don't worry, we'll escort him ourselves. To where he needs to be.
Well,
Besides, I don't think he'd fit in any of your squad cars.
You have to tie him to the roof, one of them says. The other one elbows him. Knock it off, rookie. All right. Well, if there's anything we can do to help, let us know. We're going to obviously need to get statements from everybody here involved.
Of course. Happy to give them.
Joey
Looking around to make sure any like news photographers get a really good camera angle on this.
Yeah, there's definitely people sort of pulling in and a bit of a spectacle starting.
Ever so slightly hovering for some reason with nice moonlight auras and perfectly posed. Very, healer from Overwatch style above them.
Mercy. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Mercy style.
They're eating it up. People are asking a bunch of questions, ranging from, does this Nova have anything to do with the earthquakes, to, oh my goodness, where did you get those boots?
Absolutely.
Not answer the first one, but answer the second one to an alarming extent, in intimate detail about how great this one store is. She's definitely sponsored.
Definitely. And Sovereign, as they're asking these questions, Joey sort of leans into you, Sovereign, and whispers. He's like, "I don't know that I didn't cause there was earthquakes.
They don't need to know that.
But what if it's my fault?"
Well, just don't do it again. Baby steps, Joey. Baby steps. I think it's better.
Yeah.
The earthquake stopped because of you as well.
I stopped trying to punch my way out. It's so stupid. You see like a little bit of the actual rock surface of his skin shift a little bit.
Don't be so hard on yourself. You did the best you could given the circumstances.
Says, "Don't be hard on myself." And like
That wasn't...
rolls his eyes.
Besides, well, anyway, we need to come up with a name for you for the press. If you have anything, the Rockman, the Golem, Stony, Joey the Stoner. I don't know. What do you want to go with?
Just Joey for now, I guess.
All right.
I need to talk to my mom. He starts just kind of looking around the various flashing lights, the various attention. People. He sees the people poking and prodding at his friends, and sort of all of this attention and adoration that's being pushed up towards Nixie, and he just says, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here now.
Go take a walk.
He starts stepping, and you see like the first couple of steps he takes leave like indentations in the lawn. And then he sort of almost tiptoes as he continues to walk away.
He's a strong boy. All right. So everyone, here's what happened. Thanks to the courageous efforts of the boys in blue and the EMS, we were able to get in there and rescue a newly erupted nova. We were able to witness as well that the earthquakes that were rocking the city were stabilized by the same nova. In your hour of need, a new hero rose. Etc., etc. He's gonna bullshit his way through this. He's got skilled liar.
I also skilled liar. We're quite a team. I'm gonna back this up 100% with how dramatic it was, how challenging it was to maneuver through the caves and all of the earthquakes.
Let's do command or persuasion and presence.
Okay, how does skilled liar work in terms of this?
Skilled liar, I believe,
it an
gives you an
enhancement?
enhancement of 2, but let me double check that value. 2 enhancement.
Okay. So is there like a helping roll, or am I rolling independently?
You'll roll independently, and then the total sum will be your successes.
5
Oh, wow.
plus the 2 enhancement plus mega presence 1.
10s explode, right?
10s do
Yep.
explode.
Oh my god. Okay, not again. So 5 plus the 2 enhancement.
Holy shit!
Excellent. So
I rolled 4 with 2 10s. I was like, can I get more?
what are your transcendence values?
5.
6.
All right, so you do each suffer a complication of 1 for each of your levels of transcendence above 4, or 4 and up. But that's still ample successes to sort of sell your story. You are sort of praised by the press and the emergency workers there. Ambulance shows up and loads up the injured young lady, and the press do ask a few questions. We notice do any of you have like any markings of the null sign on your costumes anywhere that would delineate you as Teragen?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I think sort of like a really nice little embroidered symbol of it over a pocket.
Yeah, I think a shoulder
jacket
cap.
around that. Yeah.
So, like, one of them asks you, so what are your thoughts on the Thompson Act over in Wisconsin, the law that requires novas to report to Rishaud facilities upon eruption?
I think it's a lot like taking God into a confession booth.
There's like pictures snapping and people jotting things down and recording.
No comment.
Another asks, with WonderCorp's proposed legislation locally for for their municipal defense contract, were you aware that they are including in that proposal an ordinance that prevents official crime fighting and EMS work by Novas?
Here's what I know. This entire incident occurred, and, well, we look at hardworking people like the PIB. We'll look at the hardworking people in the financial sector. We look at all of those hardworking men, women, and other people. And yet, WonderCorp's building seemed to have withstood this quite well. It could be structural engineering, but I'd like to know what they're doing in their basements. This earthquake came from somewhere. How about you answer that, WonderCorp? Before you stop trying to police us, why don't you turn a finger back on yourselves?
And that will be the news ticker for the next day.
Nick's just like trying not to face palm. But we'll definitely, like, in comments, let something slip about, like how brave the folks were in that fancy WonderCorp armor. It's such a shame that they arrived so late for a collapsing building, but she's confident that they would have done some real good had they been on time.
Beautiful.
God.
I love it. Yeah.
How do baselines ever have a chance? Like, this is just so... Like, I just pulled out the worst conspiracy theory I could out of my head, right? Well, it's the fifth worst, but still. Space lasers did it, it's probably the worst.
Well, I mean, how do baselines have a chance? Chinese ultimatum. But we don't need to worry about that quite yet.
Fair.
That's not for another 30 or 40 years. You're fine. But on that bright, shiny note, let's go ahead and take our bio and techno break. And as the press parts ways and the EMS workers go back, and you're both given free passes year long anytime you want to stop in at Paisley Park for the full guided
Oh, fuck
tour.
yes.
Oh, I've already paid for my yearly pass. So she's going to go to throw it to a lucky person in the crowd.
Beautiful. I love it. All right, excellent.
Sovereign's going to slide it into a pocket like fuck that noise.
I love it. Excellent.
Yeah. Nixie might start donating to get a building named after her.
Just turn Paisley Park into the place where you do all of your rescue drop-offs, so it becomes sort of gets sponsored.
Mm-hmm.
All right, on that bright and shiny, we will be back in probably 5 to 10 minutes. If you're watching live, just hang out. Feel free to ask us any questions you might have in the chat. If you are watching in VOD, hit fast forward, and we'll be back momentarily.
Yeah.
right. If all is right with the universe, we have returned from our biological and technological break. When last we were here, our adventurers had just rescued a boy named Joey from a subterranean cave who'd undergone an eruption, killed a bear in defense of his friends, and then possibly inadvertently caused a few earthquakes in Minneapolis.
Which cannot be legally proven.
Which cannot be legally proven, as far as you know. But you did make some insinuations about WonderCorp while speaking to the press after the fact that the press is going to grab onto. So tell me, what are our heroes going to do, I guess, with the remainder of that day? Are you going to make any effort to track down Joey, or are you going to just kind of let him have some space and move along with your lives? You can go back to
Definitely
work.
gonna check in with Sovereign on that one.
He seemed a little shaken up. What do you think?
Oh, I certainly think he needs supervision before we get all shaken up.
That's a good point. Well,
Oh, I
let's
certainly
go
think
find where he is then.
I think you might be a better supervisor for this one.
Yeah, potentially. Although he did seem taken by you. That hug. Pretty clever.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Well, tell you what.
Just thinking
I'll be
yourself,
big
why is
bro.
hug clever.
I'll be big brother. You be, well, Nixie Moonlight.
Sure, sounds good to me.
all right. He's not hard to follow or spot. He basically, by the time you catch up with him, he's kind of just walking along the highway on his way back into the city proper. By this point, Novas have been around for a decade, so the looky-loos, while they're still there, it's not like he's stopping traffic, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's very clear as you're approaching, you can see that he is still walking carefully,
Stopping
almost
traffic.
in like a tiptoe sort of fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Hey, Joey. How's it going?
He stops and looks up. It's going to take me a week to get home.
Fair. Well, we could probably make it a little quicker.
Can
Do you know where it is? Yeah, totally.
He
Give us
gi-
an address or a landmark or something.
He gives you his address. He lives in a on-campus dormitory at University of Minnesota.
Nixie, do you know how to get there?
I have a GPS device. What floor do you live on?
I live on the 4th floor. He looks down at himself. I don't know if I can go back into my dorm room.
I was worried about that as well. Yes, we might need to find you a different residence.
What'd you major in, Joey?
I'm undeclared.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm. We also don't know that you will always look like this.
You might go back to normal when you calm down.
Calm down.
You got to accept yourself.
Or in certain circumstances, like a nice warm bath, something like that.
Well, you have to make a pretty big bath, but we can probably make that happen.
Just go to a hot spring.
Are there any hot springs in Minnesota?
Right, you
I'll
can't
pull out my
teleport.
phone.
So I know this really, really lovely one up in the Rockies. Oh, it's so nice.
It sounds nice.
This is
I'll take it sometime.
the Rockies. Can you take me there? Yeah.
Sure, it's quite rocky.
Oh, there's hot spring spas of the Twin Cities. It's a chain. Who knew? Boiling Springs. All right. Should be called Bubbling Springs. Ooh, 5 stars.
He says maybe that should be my new name.
What, Hot Spring?
Rocky.
Yeah.
Sure. You don't have to stick with one either. If you find one that you like, or you find one that you want to try out, let us know, let other folks know. You don't have to stay with it forever.
Yeah. I
This
was
may be something
considering.
that has changed for you, but that doesn't mean who you are as a change. You can still just be Joey if you want to be.
I just don't know what I want, and it feels so difficult to control.
Like a world of cardboard, right? Yeah, I've heard that speech from somewhere before. It's not easy. I mean, look at this. He'll walk over to the guardrail, kind of on the side of the highway.
Okay.
I could tie this like a pretzel. Pretty easily. Just
Oh my goodness. How
So
do you,
He's going to get so mad at you again.
how do you keep
Oh, sorry,
from, how do you keep from doing that all the time though?
Well. I think it's just practice. You ever had any pets, Joey?
Yeah. Yeah, I had a cat growing up.
Oh, you didn't squish it. You didn't squish it, right?
No.
There we go.
Always the clarifying questions.
Sovereign, your phone rings.
Oh, sorry. I have to take. Who is it?
It's Tempest.
So Tempest is again our.
Tempest, U.S. She is the person who recruited you into Nova Vigilance.
Okay. Hold on. Beep. Go for Sovereign.
Hey, Sovereign. And as she speaks, her voice sounds like a choir. Like it's harmonizing with itself. Like 3 or 4 people. Just synced, but at different pitches. She says, I just saw you on the news.
Yep.
National news.
Yeah, I'll do that.
And I wanted to give you a heads up because I've also seen that apparently that Wonder Corp CEO, guy by the name of Wayne William, has called a press conference tonight. Apparently to respond to your statements. Now, we have a bit of a dossier on this guy, and it's not great.
No.
Well, first of all, his company's log line is by human hands from human minds. He's been a quiet but generous supporter of various anti-Nova groups. I think you might be dealing with a bit of an anti-Nova extremist that has a company at their disposal.
So what's the plan?
Well, I was about to ask you, do you need backup? My hands are a little full right now. Several members of the People's Protection Militia were arrested recently here in Wisconsin. And Ken Lacerda and I are protecting them right now long enough that they can stand trial. Because some of our cousins in the Aberrant movement don't think that they deserve a chance at human justice.
Is this
Well,
on
fair.
speakerphone?
It's-
Sovereign?
It's not, but it's pretty loud, and he's standing right next to you.
Okay, that sounds good.
I've got Nixie
Concerned
Midnight
face.
here. Nixie Moonlight here.
It is midnight.
Well,
Got it
I
right the
mean,
first time.
this affects.
I typed it wrong in Zoom.
this,
Is it Moonlight or Midnight?
It's midnight.
Okay, I had it written down from your Zoom name. Okay, there we go.
I mean, this affects her too, so feel free to put me on speaker, I suppose.
Beep. I've also got our new recruit, Rocky, here.
New recruit? That's the kid that erupted?
Yep, the kid that erupted's right here. We're hanging out on the side of the eye, whatever this is.
Okay, I can bounce over for a minute. Do you need a hand, or do you have that under control?
We've got this under
control.
control.
Overwhelming at this time.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Look, do you have any techno people or anything like that you could send over here?
Techno people.
What are?
Yeah.
What is the worst case scenario here? We get slagged in the news?
I don't know what he's planning. I know that Lacerda found some paperwork about this ordinance he's trying to get pushed through the Minneapolis City Council. It looks like he wants to effectively outlaw any sort of organized Nova crime fighting, abolish the local police, and replace them with his mercenary squad.
Blah.
Yeah, on a number of levels. I'm just hoping that we can. My hope is that whatever he does or says at that press conference, we can use to our advantage, or at least run some damage control on it. Lacerda knows a little bit about computers. I can send and general technology. I can drop her off to you if you think that's going to help.
I just think that if, these law officer suits, they seem pretty sketchy. Who knows if they could malfunction in public view?
So you're looking at ways to maybe sabotage them? Can we get our hands on one of them?
I don't know. We could look at that, but still. This is
Okay,
bad
really,
news.
Sean? I don't know about tonight,
Do you want us to go and crash the press release? Turn it into a bit of a debate?
Maybe go and observe, and there's our good friend Jerryon has set a rather disturbing precedence for Nova showing up uninvited to press releases. So I want to to press conferences. So I want to be careful that we don't cause any undue panic. But if you want to go there openly, I would recommend, if you're going to go openly and go in an observational capacity. I think the press will ask you for your dissenting opinion if you're present.
Sounds good to me. Nixie? Feel like going to there might be hors d'oeuvres.
I do like hors d'oeuvres. I do still want
Rocky,
to go to a spa.
Well, we can take Rocky to a spa afterwards. I think it's best if he stays away from the press conference, just in case they try to point any fingers his direction.
It's probably good.
I think so too.
Does he walk him through a few mantras, have him calm himself? I'm on speaker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, Rocky.
I can share the breathing technique you showed me.
Thank you. And Rocky, is it? You're gonna be okay. You're in good hands. He nods and says, "Thank you." He says, "All right. Let me know if you get your hands on one of those suits. That might be something we can do something with. I can try to see if we can get access to any of the information. Wonder Corp's database is locked down pretty tight, but if they're sharing intel with Minneapolis PD, I suspect that'd be a little easier to get our hands on. So I'll work that angle remotely from here, and call me if you need anything."
Sounds good.
Will do. Keep us posted if anything changes. Otherwise, I'll wear something nice.
Sounds like a plan. She hangs up.
Speaking of something
Right.
nice, Rocky, do you need to
Yes.
call any family members?
I should call my mom. She's probably even seen the news by now.
Did your phone survive your eruption?
I lost it in the cave, I think. My clothes all ripped off.
So, you're welcome to borrow mine. Do you want us to step away while you make this phone call? Should you make this phone call?
Yeah, maybe give me a minute. He looks at the phone and he looks at his hands.
I can dial the number for you.
Thank you. He gives you the number.
Yeah. She's going to pull out a spare cell phone. She's
burner
ridiculously
phone.
prepared for this.
Right. Always
Exactly.
prepared. Yeah.
Type in whatever number he gives her, put it on speaker, and just hand it to him.
He sort of like lets it lay in the palm of his hand, and it certainly does not. It's like a normal person holding like a cigarette lighter almost in terms of scale. And he just starts saying, Mom, it's okay. It's me. I'm okay. I know my voice sounds
He's
weird.
going to grab Sovereign and pull back a little bit.
All right.
Good work on this one.
Hey, I was just following your example.
Setting a very good one.
He talks to her for about 5 minutes and then walks over and holds the phone out. She took it as well as could be expected, I guess. She asked me to come home.
Where's home for you, son?
St. Paul.
Look, when she sees you, she's going to have a bit of a reaction. I need you to brace yourself for this. But she's still your mom. She saw you through pimples, she'll see you through this.
He chuckles and gives you the address.
All right, Nixie. Can you make it there?
I mean, unfortunately, that's not quite how this works for me.
I don't know.
I could take a taxi there. I could take a look at the environment, look things up and down, get real familiar with it, then poof back, maybe. But I don't think I've been to your house before, so unfortunately, it's quite difficult for me to get there.
All right, then we're going to take the fun way.
Why don't we rent a
how much
truck?
I was just going to jump.
Oh, that works too. Sure. Have you ever been princess carried by a superhero?
I can't
Come on,
say
Rocky.
I have.
Okay, how are we going to do this?
Would you like to?
All right, so you hoist Rocky up.
All right, Rocky, you pick up Nixie. I'll pick up Rocky. Let's do
Oh, good. I can take a taxi.
We ain't got time for that. Come on.
He holds out a hand for Nixie.
Sure. But welcome to a ridiculous world, Rocky.
He,
Jump.
he nods and you
Time.
leap through the sky.
So, and I don't think it costs quantum to use this, actually. I think I can just do it.
Quantum leap, probably.
Yeah.
It might cost a quantum, I'm not sure.
It doesn't look like it. It looks like it's just ridiculous. Which
Okay.
is just my
ridiculous.
favorite. My favorite. So he will just whee! Whee! I don't know how many kilometers it is, but I can get there.
You get there in like 5 jumps.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
His mother comes out. She just walks up and puts both hands on his cheeks and then hugs him. He starts crying. She starts crying. And she
Better than expected.
turns to the two of you and says, "Thank you for bringing my baby home.
Do a little dramatic salute.
I'll get some stuff down there in the cellar for you. I don't think you'll make it through the front door." And she goes around back and they have one of those sort of double door opens from the ground cellars. And he says, "I'll be here if you need me. I'll try working on my breathing in the meantime."
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Look.
Make sure that he's got phone numbers, and I'll share resources to breathing techniques and all of that stuff.
If
Excellent.
anybody comes here and tries to interview you, you call us first.
He nods.
Anybody tries to get you to go to one of those Rashad facilities, you contact us.
He says, what if somebody comes to arrest me?
You call us. And you politely decline until your representation arrives.
He nods.
Say you'll go peacefully, but only with representation.
He nods.
We can get to you within about 5 minutes, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue.
His mom says, is that a possibility?
Shouldn't be.
Yeah, look, you're suburbanites in St. Paul. Give his mom like a look over. Does she look like any type of minority or marginalized person that would be particularly targeted by the police?
No, she's a older white lady.
Okay. So, I feel awful having to ask that, but I think you'll be fine. Just play up respectability.
She kind of breathes in like she's taken aback for about a half a second and then just kind of nods understandingly.
Mm-hmm. You didn't do anything wrong. And your son has the power to do a lot of good.
I've always told him that. She taps him on the arm. Come on, let's get you inside. Get you some soup and some pie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I want some. I'm so hungry. Oh, I didn't even realize how hungry I am.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm not surprised.
She takes him down into the basement. What would the two of you like to do with the remainder of your evening and into the press conference?
I would like to spend a little bit of time becoming intimately familiar with this exact area for strategic future teleportation purposes.
Very good. You can certainly, to sort of help yourself memorize the area, you can whip out your cell phone, take a bunch of pictures, get like a panoramic shot of the lawn. In and of itself would make teleportation complicated, but since you've actually been there, and it can serve more as reminders than just focusing on the picture type of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
That should only take you really a few minutes to get at least a good enough familiarity that you're fairly sure you can get there in a hurry.
Mm-hmm. Well, big guy, do you want to jump back or do you want to poof?
Let's poof.
Actually, kind of want to go to the Prince Museum. Poof.
Maybe I'm just like my mother.
You spend.
It's just so nice here with the sun setting.
You enjoy the sunset over Paisley Park while you're listening to the doves cry. Eventually, are you doing anything to address your jobs? You're fairly certain that given the nature of the catastrophe, neither one of you would be expected to show up for work at the moment, but you might want to reach out to them and let them know that you survived, or not. Up to you.
Well, I mean, who's going to answer the phone at my place?
That's a valid point.
I'll probably send an email to the Chewable Candy Corporation. And due to unforeseen circumstances, we've had to delay this round of optimizations. But here's my calendar for the next few weeks. So please choose the time that works best for you to fit in here, and we'll get your services optimized.
Beautiful. I love it. You probably send an email as well, Severin. Just made it out of the building okay. We'll be back to work on Monday.
Wherever that is.
Yeah. There's probably a remote work protocol in place from based on previous instances where something similar has happened. So
the CEO isn't allowing work from home anymore, though, for some reason. He just changed it in a day. But then, yeah, he's a real twit. Sorry.
Speaking of millionaires, is there anything else, any other research or things that you want to do before the press conference, looking into Wonder Corp or
Yeah, Wayne, what's his name? Wayne what?
Wayne William, Williom.
Yeah, let's find out about Wayne William.
Sure. What would you like to? How would you like to go about that research? What would you like to focus on specifically?
So I would like to contact two of my contacts, actually,
Okay.
and ask for some help from that. If that's the way path contacts work. So I've got a sneaky lawyer friend,
Sure.
and I've got an influential media personality.
Okay. So the way this will work is you'll select which social attribute you are going to leverage when you're talking with this person, and you will roll that attribute plus your path rating.
Okay.
The risks that you may assess from this is you may wind up, depending on what you're asking for and what the result of your roll is, you could wind up with the path suspension condition, which effectively would mean that further leaning on that path in this session risks revoking your access to the path.
Okay. So
kinda
I will
goes-
contact my media personality first, who is a local talk show host named B, as in like B. Arthur, J. Carmine.
Excellent.
This was randomly generated, and I love it.
Excellent.
Ooh, I should do some random names too.
Go ahead and give me that roll.
Okay, so I'll use, I guess, I use like persuasion plus.
No, it's just an attribute plus your path rating.
Okay, so like presence plus. Okay.
Right. And so the way this works is the first time, regardless of whether it's successful or fails, it reduces your connection rating by 1 for the duration of this session.
That's a botch.
Beautiful.
Amazing.
You gain a point of momentum.
Yay! Oh, 2 points of momentum because it's a botch, right?
Yes.
Mwahaha. Filled the pool.
As you call, B answers the phone. What can I do for you?
Hey, I need to know about this guy, Wayne William.
Oh, sure. What do you need to know about him?
Everything about him possible. He's
Yeah, I mean, he's wealthy billionaire, gained his fortune actually through some rather astute investments and online gambling after he received a relatively large life insurance payout when his parents were killed in an accident.
oh gee, that doesn't sound suspicious at all.
He's a rather outspoken critic of the Aeon Society, Project Utopia, and the Teragen, who has both vocally and through investments and lobbying done his best to try to curb what he refers to as utopian overreach. He is publicly on a number of occasions stated that that human ingenuity and advancement still has a place in this world, and that he intends to use Wonder Corp to prove that very fact.
Look, B, this guy's a real asshole. He's causing some major trouble. I want to see if you can get me on one of your shows. Me and Nixie Midnight.
Yeah, you want
Like on a morning show, we can do some cooking
He's
and
got
talk about our.
he's got that press conference tomorrow night. Do you want to go on tomorrow morning?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's prime the pump.
Excellent. Yeah, can do.
What do you think, Nixie?
This is gonna
Wake
suck.
up, Twin
I
Cities.
don't know if Nixie is here, but I mean, she'll do it. She'll do
Nixie?
whatever.
Nixie?
Kapu.
She was here a minute ago. I'll make sure Nixie's there. We'll wear. I'll have to find a big enough cardigan sweater for this.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, the cute Christmas pattern on it.
Is it roughly same season right now? Is it like winter?
Yeah, it's winterish.
Okay, cool. All right.
All right. Any other activities? You said you had another contact you wanted to call.
Yeah. So, I'm still a mortal man. I'm gonna call Fred.
All right.
Oh God! Now the successes. All right, 3 successes for Fred, or 2 successes for Fred.
And please, who is Fred?
Fred B. Simonson is the friend of mine from university who actually completed the law degree.
Excellent.
So he's a big corporate lawyer, but he's like a sneaky lawyer. So he does like basically legal hit work.
Okay.
So
hey, what's up, Rich?
hey, I've got a little bit of a problem. I need to know everything you've got or that you can get. So on a big fish.
What's up, Rich?
Wayne Williams.
Oh.
William.
Oh.
I've got
Everything I know about Wayne William. That's there's a lot to know officially or unofficially.
anything that can be funneled against him. I've been hired to dig up some information about his ties to potential anti-Nova terrorist activities.
Oh, well, I mean, he makes some. I can get you a list of the donations he's made in the past 5 years.
What about any health reports from people who were injured by the law officer suits?
Those records are real hard to get a hold of. It's R&D that's been done under a military contract.
Yeah, for most people that'd be pretty hard. But Fred, I think you're better than that.
Oh, I'm pretty good. Don't get me wrong, but WonderCorp has a fleet of me. Okay.
Well,
I applied for a gig there 3 years ago, and I was told in my when the job was refused, I had a chance to talk with the hiring manager, and I was told that they were concerned I lacked the ability to create a sufficient moral vacuum to work at the company.
all right.
What a sentence.
That's take a point to your own momentum pool, Travis. That was good.
Yeah.
Take a point to the collateral pool if you need. I'll allow it.
Sure.
City explodes.
Well, that's 10. The city collapses into a cave. Well, you knew Minneapolis is headed this way eventually. This works out. Not the Prince Museum.
No. Oh no, we would save that.
Everyone saved
Let's
Paisley
just go
Park.
into the moon.
Oh, Prince Museum on the moon. Please. I will gift a sub to your channel if you do that, honey.
All right.
So
I'm easily bribed. New plan.
I know.
We're maxing out.
Yeah. But anything that you can get me that would be useful would be great. I know that you got some pretty big chips stacked against you on this one.
Yeah, give me some time. How soon do you need it?
As soon as you can manage.
All right. I will see what I can do.
Thanks, man. You're a real hero. Tell your mom I say hi.
Will do. And likewise. He hangs up. Any path contacts or anything like that Nixie would like to leverage?
Yeah, I think so. So a contact from, I think this one might have been Life of Privilege, whichever one gives me access to local political affiliates.
Okay. Excellent.
For
That
if we're
sounds
gonna say it's
Life of Privilege. Yeah. So that would be
I think
your...
so, yeah. So let's say that this is like an old friend of Nixie's mom, whose name is Betty B. Brooks, because I generated that and I really like it, and is a mayor's aide.
Excellent.
So she's going to transform dramatically back into mild-mannered in no way Celine Swarovski. Then call and sort of talk through, hey, I've been hired to assist with some policy work. I've been hearing really, really good things about this proposal from WonderCorp, and I'm wondering if I can get a copy of it.
Sure.
And specifically to know who's involved on it, who's doing the writing on this stuff, who's coming up with the nitty gritty, the fine print, because maybe I want to hire them.
Beautiful. Yeah. Go ahead and make that social attribute of your choice plus path rating roll, please.
Sure. So let's do that one. Not a lot of days of path rating. Oh, it's not a terrible roll though. I have 2.
All right. She says, yeah, I can email it.
My goal is 8, right? Because I've swooped back.
That is correct. That is correct.
Okay, so yeah, 2.
She says, yeah, let me get that right over to you. Actually, I can email you a copy right now.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your help. And also, it's so good to see you. I hope we'll see you around the holidays. I'm working on that ridiculous, that recipe. My gosh, I cannot wait. The one with you do the potatoes with the thing. I cannot wait for it.
Oh, it's going to be great. The Saturday before Christmas, we're doing like a friend gift exchange. Come on out. It's going to be fun,
Oh my gosh. Wait, is this like a Secret Santa? I'm so good at Secret Santa.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Grab something and we'll go. She sends you a link. Like that's where you sign up, and then we'll assign you.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited I called you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Of course.
All right, I'll see you soon.
Yeah, happy holidays.
Yeah. Hangs up.
She hangs up, and you have the email. The proposal.
Nice.
The proposal itself, what it does is it specifies in the language of the proposal that it does not supersede federal Good Samaritan law. Right. So any Nova who is
it just happens to be wandering by.
Right. And does something to help someone who's in peril, they're not in any sort of legal liability. What it does propose is that the city craft an ordinance that prevents any sort of organized vigilante activity from Novas. That the city, while the ordinance is in effect, will not contract with any Nova personnel for law enforcement or EMS, and that over the course of the next 5 years, municipal policing will be handed over entirely to a force of law officers, beginning with an initial rolling out of 20 suits that are ready to go and readily available. It does have a provision in it for allowing existing police to train to be part of the program, but in order to do so, they do need to resign from the police department and become employees of WonderCorp with all that entails, including NDAs and the like. This was actually drafted according to the paperwork by Wayne William himself. And was presented to a city alderman, and that alderman has sponsored it. According to the notes in the email, the city council is currently 9-2 in favor of it, but because it requires the dissolution of the municipal police force, it requires a unanimous vote by the city council and the mayor to sign off. So it's not quite there yet.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think Celine's got a whole bunch of thoughts about this one. This sucks.
Speaking of things that suck, you get your package emailed to you, Richard, from your lawyer friend. It's a list of attachments of basically every legal action that WonderCorp has been involved in the last 5 years. There's a lot. There's also a lot of redacted material because they do a lot of government contracting. The catchy headlines that you pick up from this, however, are that the law officer armor was initially created under a DoD contract. And at some point, through some mechanism that is currently redacted, Wonder Corp pulled it from the DoD. So they pulled it back, and that's when this municipal initiative began.
So is that type of privatization something that's not super common, right? Like,
what is super common is the hiring of novas as municipal defenders who act in concert with law enforcement. There are a few smaller cities on not in the United States, in the global South, that have experimented with using Nova only EMS. So contracting out 15, 20 Novas instead of having a mundane EMS force. But that's rare. That's a handful of places that have done that. More common, again, not in the States, but more common globally, is for militaries to hire elites to act as proxies in combat. That's
so how the hell could they have managed to like pull this out of the Department of Defense?
All of the paperwork regarding it is redacted. The best that you can pull together is that everything was going fine. Wayne William wanted to pull it. There was loads of legal maneuvering to try to prevent that. And then the Senate subcommittee that was in charge of it voted unanimously to release the contract.
That's sketchy as fuck.
It's sketchy as fuck. The other interesting tidbit that you discover is that according to the records that you were able to acquire, each of these suits was supervised personally by Wayne William during construction. They're not mass producing them.
And they're
I'll share this with Nixie. I'm sure he's
share back
smart.
your thoughts too.
Do you think he's actually that smart?
I mean, I think he probably has a different goal than what is proposed here. I mean, look at this. This proposal is it's ensuring that we don't have all hands on deck in an emergency situation. There's going to be low numbers of enforcers and any sort of EMS services if they're all just going to be these handcrafted suits. Where's the local accountability? This is some international hell corp coming in here taking over all of our emergency medical services. That's ridiculous. And where's the different levels of response? There's only one extreme response. Something happens and a dude in an armored suit shows up with guns for arms. This is not an effective response to an emergency situation. There's no nuance.
Also,
Really
they
ridiculous
suck.
Proposal. Also, they suck.
I say, why don't you go? You go reasoned. So you take the soft approach. I'll take the hard approach. So if it comes up at the press conference, what do you think about? What do you think about you and me doing some John Henry situation here?
John Henry situation.
The steel driving man. Let's see if those lawsuits can stand up to a real Nova.
We'll see what happens.
Excellent.
All we have
Just
to do is
ridiculous.
remind them of our superiority.
That's true. And that we're all in this together.
Any other activities you would like to button up before the morning show?
Or is it the morning show first or the press conference that we're crashing?
You had decided the morning show the morning before the press conference.
Oh,
The press
wow,
conference is the next day.
So I think
Okay.
for the morning show, I mean, Nixie's just gonna get some nice moonlight baths and all of that stuff. Do her usual activity of like sitting on a lawn chair at midnight like a dork. And then I think probably we'll try to show up as like I just woke up like this as possible the next day with like perfect makeup with that exactly tousled hair. Like she's probably wearing like, a one of those not a house coat, but like the really fancy version of a house coat, those stylish robes and like designer slippers and all ready and excited to make breakfast.
I love it. I love it. Really just dialing it up. And are you
Yeah.
planning on going to the studio to appear, or are you planning on appearing remotely?
We'll go to the studio.
Yeah, Nixie would like to go in person. I mean, she's going to be all still, like, of course, transformed, right? So she's kind of a little bit floaty with bright moonlight auras all around her, all of that.
Excellent. You and your...
And sort of in $1 million pajamas.
Yeah, and Sovereign's going to show up dressed in the Sovereign suit, but with like a big Christmas sweater on top.
Nice. As you arrive, you are greeted by security. Everyone is very polite and kind. In a bit of awe, one of the security guards asks you for autographs. We're not supposed to do this, but yeah. Oh, that would be great. Yeah. My kid's a big fan.
I won't tell anyone if you don't tell anyone.
Tell you what, what's your kid's name?
Chuck.
All right, here, turn your camera on. Turn your video on.
Turns the video camera on.
Hey, Chuck, I'm here with your dad. I just wanted to say he's the real hero. Listen to what he says. And you're awesome. Can't wait to see you up in the skies with us, kiddo.
Thanks. He's gonna love it. All of his friends at school are gonna hate him for this. This is great.
I love to make kids hate kids.
And you are escorted into the green room. They don't keep you waiting very long, probably about 5 minutes. Any activity you'd like to engage in while you're in the green room?
Trying to memorize a really nice recipe for like a fancy omelet, and having coffee.
Excellent. There is a wonderful spread of food.
To share.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah, he's going to eat a bunch of the craft services stuff.
Excellent. You are both called on. As you called on the host, and please remind me again, what was the host's name?
B.J. Carmine.
BJ Carmine.
Excellent.
Or B.J. Carmine works too.
It's just a great name.
B starts the broadcast. You're watching from the green room. They have a monitor there. And she says, today we're going to get into a little bit the recent shaker we had here in town. Look at a couple of the heroes who helped us get through that, and discuss some possible ramifications of it. And I'd like to bring out, have you identified yourselves as members of Nova Vigilance to B Sovereign? Have you used that?
Yeah, let's say so. Let's say we wear the null symbol on us. So we might as well.
Yeah, it's embroidered on my house coat.
Wonderful. I'd like to bring out two members of the superhero team Nova Vigilance. I would like to welcome Sovereign and Nixie Midnight to the show, and they come and knock on the door and say, "All right, you're on." You hear the applause as you're being walked past the down the hallway, past the curtains, and out to step out. As soon as you walk out, standing ovations. People are very pleased. It was on the news that you stopped the quakes, so people are fairly happy with you. And you're escorted to a couch. B gets up and shakes both your hands, and says, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for taking the time. I also have a special surprise, not only for our audience, but for our guests at home. We're also being joined by WonderCorp CEO Wayne William.
Oh, what a wonderful surprise.
Oh, good. What the fuck, B?
She looks at you and like mouths, "I'm sorry," as Wayne William steps out to also applause. He looks like he's probably in his late 20s, red hair. He's wearing a business suit that's a little disheveled. And he walks over, shakes B's hand, extends his hand to Sovereign.
Shake, shoulder.
He seems unfazed by your display of strength, and extends a hand to Nixie as well.
just shake hand regularly.
He-
It's really wonderful to meet you in person.
When he takes your hand, he goes in to kiss your hand.
Yeah, she'll go with that. Carry on.
He does so and
What a charmer.
sits down.
I didn't see you give me a kiss, Wayne.
He says, if you would prefer, and stands back up and kisses your hand.
You may always kiss the ring.
Far be it from me to insult anyone. He sits down in a chair sort of beyond the couch. So it's like him, the couch, and then the host.
Oh, good battle lines.
I think Nixie is going to sit so that Sovereign is closest to him.
Excellent. And B says, so we have a lot to talk about this morning, specifically the earthquakes. Sovereign, you mentioned during the heroic rescue of the missing spelunkers that you found it odd that WonderCorp was still standing.
Yes, it just seemed a little strange to me. I mean, maybe your engineers have a great degree of prescience, but I just wouldn't think that somewhere in Minneapolis would be that structurally fortified against earthquakes. It seems a little strange to me.
Wayne says, perhaps I can alleviate your concerns.
I would love that.
Very simple. With Project Utopia making the scale and breadth of changes to Earth that have been made over the course of the past decade, I've taken it upon myself to ensure that all of WonderCorp's buildings are designed to withstand any conceivable natural disaster, regardless of whether or not it is locally considered normal. This has come at great expense to WonderCorp, but I feel the safety and security of my employees are my top priority.
Understandable. Probably as well. It's good to be fortified when you're doing your tests on your law officer outfits down beneath.
Oh, you want to
I
talk
imagine
about
those things.
You want to talk about
Oh
the
yeah,
law
sure,
program?
sure.
Oh, I'm quite proud of it.
I'm very curious about it.
Yeah, there are some suits that I designed under circumstances that I'd love to tell you about, but I'd have to kill you.
I mean, does that work with Sovereign? I'm pretty sure you can still tell him.
No, all joking aside, some of the development is still classified with the U.S. government, but these are suits that I designed myself because I do agree with Project Utopia on one very specific point. We are entering a new age, and we need to be able to rise to the challenges of that new age. Specifically, humanity needs to be able to rise to that occasion. And as I believe your leader, forgive me if I'm not up on the appropriate terminology, Divis Mall stated in the Null Manifesto, you're not human.
No, it's true. I think that there is a good argument to be made for Homo sapiens sapiens trying to rise to the occasion, but in trying to rise, you should be trying to find a way to Homo sapien. Is Homo sapien novus? Is that
it's just Homo novus.
Homo novus?
Novus?
To make your way to Homo novus. Like, fortunately, we have people, we have novas who are willing to protect cities like Minneapolis and, bring about an end to even natural disasters like this. Your suits are very interesting.
I'm delighted to see us all rising together. I want to commend you on the design of such an interesting piece of technology. I felt so lucky to get to see them in action a little bit late, but in action nonetheless. Yesterday when that building collapsed, that was quite delightful to see. Such an interesting set of tools on them. It was fascinating. So seriously, very, very well done on it. It's so delightful to see you and to see us all rising together, right?
Exactly. And I love to have the support of such auxiliary technology. It's a great supplement to what we already bring to the table. And I think that you should be commended for that.
Well, I appreciate that very much so.
The design's a bit. I mean, maybe send it to Saks and see if they can clean it up a bit. But you know,
Well,
Oh, they look fine.
interestingly enough, we had a few offers from some Nova designers, but it just didn't seem like it would be appropriate. Having said that, my team, I think you'll find if you check the numbers, my team averted quite a bit of collateral damage in terms of the overall city. I do commend you as well for your rapid response at that building that unfortunately did need to be brought down. But I guess it's very interesting to me the thing that you said there, Nixie, about us all rising together, because I do not subscribe to the notion that mankind needs to mutate in order to meet the future.
I don't know that I was suggesting you grow squid arms. I think I was merely suggesting that we greet the future together.
oh, so isn't just evolution a type of mutation?
A type, but evolution takes time. Evolution is guided. Evolution doesn't happen in response to mysterious radiation-fueled explosions. We still don't understand what truly happened with the Galatea. And the idea that while some of you are clearly benevolent and helpful to humanity, we don't understand the full implications of what's been done. I know this is going to be unpopular among some of Project Utopia's fans, for example, but the amount of alteration that Dr. Balmer has been responsible for to the planet alone, we need 100 years to study the data of what's happened, let alone truly.
You could give it to a Nova for a weekend.
Sure, if we wanted a bias source, we could.
Yeah.
Well.
I think there's a difference between bias and efficiency. Wouldn't you say so?
So, are you implying that you've somehow evolved beyond bias?
I don't think that's the case. I'm even biased in where I get my shoes from. However,
You know what? At this point, he's pissing me off a little. I'm going to. I'm going to. Mac. Can I? Does Max add to collateral pool?
Max out does add the collateral pool.
Ooh, are we allowed to ask what we're at right now?
Are you allowed to what?
Are we allowed to ask what we're at, or is that a secret?
Your collateral pool is at 9.
Okay, so in that case, he's just going to put a hand out on the couch and laugh real hard to try to mega presence the audience into really digging this joke.
Excellent. That
it
shouldn't
was not a
be
very good joke, but I'll take it.
that shouldn't be too difficult for you. I'm not even going to make you roll. You
Okay.
do so, and they take the laugh. And at that note, B leans forward and says, very interesting conversation we're having this morning. Make sure you stay tuned. We're just going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be back with our guests, Sovereign, Nixie Midnight of Nova Vigilance, and Wayne Williams, CEO of Wonder Corp. And a ad starts running for Nova 2, the sequel to the smash box office film Nova. And that's where we'll wrap things up for this week. So any questions, comments, complaints, or concerns about this session?
No, this
a
is
lot of
great.
fun.
When you botched that roll, I was like,
Oh, it's beautiful. I had a feeling that's what you were going to do, because it's just so, the beautiful thing about, I love playing under you because you lean into narrative convention in ways where I'm like, that's probably where this is going to go, and I'm here for it. because it's the type of move I would make to like, and it's great because you get to feel like it's literally a Hollywood movie,
Well,
like in the most positive way possible.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It was it just.
Yeah, I think it's an awful lot more fun to have an interview that goes horribly versus not an interview at all with a box.
And I could squish his head like this. Like I could just lean over and be like, "Oh, you've got a little," and flick his head off.
Theoretically, you could.
Theoretically.
You're still not quite sure what Mr. William is. Perhaps that will be revealed next week. But in the interim, before we go too far, I did want to ask: did any of you attain any of your short or long-term aspirations?
Both of my short terms actually. Was I? No, I was not emotionally weak. I was physically weak, but I was physically impressive. So there's one.
Okay. Was emotionally weak a short term? Bless you.
It was a short term.
Bless you again.
Oh my goodness.
Bless you.
You're all good. Bless you times two. Bless you to the second power, I should say.
Why, thank you.
So, let's see, where are we at here? So those were both short terms that you had listed, but you'd only fulfilled one, correct?
Yeah, I only fulfilled one, and then figure out whether or not Sovereign's a hero or a villain. He's still fluctuating too much. No progress there.
Okay, but that is
because he immediately goes from like, I'm going to save this building and make this kid feel better, and then I'm going to talk about corporate sabotage.
So that will be 1 XP to Sovereign. Did Nixie fulfill any short-term aspirations? So. Okay. How about any of your long-term aspirations?
I think she's still looking for that thing to fight for.
Excellent. Did you did not spend half the available momentum in a single scene, but you did.
Is that an option?
That is an option. Yeah, if you spend half the momentum in a single scene, you gain extra XP. Just an FYI for the future. You did, however, reach a story milestone by retrieving Rocky. So you'll get 1 XP for that, both of you.
Okay.
Sounds good.
And on that bright, shiny note, that's where we'll wrap things up. When we return next week, at the beginning of game, in case I forget, because I sometimes do, remind me that you'll have opportunity to make tweaks if you wish to, where you can say, for example, if you noticed there was something you were trying to roll a lot that you don't have a lot of dots in, you can move those around among your mundane traits. In order to make tweaks to your Nova traits, you need to undergo Chrysalis.
I think I'm feeling pretty good about where they are right now. I don't think I realized that I'd given myself intellect 1, but I'm here for it. So.
Right on. And I do want to make the note that intellect 1 just means that you're not particularly good at processing complicated data. That's
sort of how I've been thinking of it. Yeah.
It's not a deficiency necessarily. It just means that when dealing with complex stuff, it's a little bit more of a challenge for you.
It goes directly between my ears.
Exactly. So on that bright and shiny, that's where we'll wrap things up for this week. Let's go ahead and do our outros, and let's start things out with Nixie Midnight. Please tell us who you are, what you do, who you've been playing, pronouns, and anything you would care to promote.
Awesome. So hi, I'm Millie Andor Bunnyhearted. I am a cozy, comfy, chill vibes and ASMR VTuber over at twitch.tv/bunnyhearted. I've been playing Nixie Midnight, whose pronouns are she and her, and it's a complete delight. My pronouns are she and her, or they and them. And I don't have anything cool and exciting and brand new to promote other than like my face. My face is pretty great. I have a new festive outfit that is slowly being unveiled this week. So that's a lot of fun so far. And also, hi, I love you a lot. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you. It's been a blast to have you, and I really appreciate you being here.
I'm so glad I could make it.
Thank you. And next up, we have Sovereign. Please give us all of Sovereign's pertinent details.
All right. So Sovereign is played by Kelly. That's me. We both use he and him. No, this has been an absolute riot, or I guess the riot is yet to come. But this has been it's been earth-shaking. I'm very excited to do this. I love superhero games, and it's so rare to be able to play them under somebody who gets the genre.
Thank you. That's very sweet.
You know, it's so much fun. You can find me over at Dorktales. I think the next time you'll be able to find me is Saturday night on Mage: The Ascent of the Victorian Age at 7, and then again on Tuesday for Call of the Netherdeep. Because I think I have Monday off this week.
Rock and roll. Well, enjoy your time off. You don't get nearly enough of it, I'm certain.
Yeah, well, we have a brand new Technocracy game that just got funded on our Patreon, so that's going to be coming out in a couple months.
Congratulations on that. Looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, I get to be a player.
That.
That's gonna be super good.
Nice.
Yeah, Jen's running.
Nice. If
Jen's gonna do great on that.
if you need and can and are willing and there's room to pop in a guest appearance by a man in black or something, let me know.
I'll talk to Jen. I'll talk to Jen and see if she wants you.
I just want to run around flashy thing people. I don't even care about anything else.
Just show up and go, boop. All right, bye. I'll just have a single frame of you in the first episode being like, this episode didn't happen, and go boop.
Speaking of, I gotta nerd out for a second. Speaking of Technocracy, if you were one of the backers for Technocracy Reloaded, Melody Through the Mirror Shade Lenses just came out for you. Double check your backer kits. I have a short story in there called Fell Winds that I am absurdly proud of. And mild spoilers, make some interesting use of the flashy thing device, the knot, as it were. A particular Void engineer makes some particular adjustments to her device to achieve a particular end that another character refers to as, oh, you've turned off your emotion chip.
Cute.
So lots of fun. If you backed that on Kickstarter or Backer Kit, you should have that in your stuff. If you didn't get that stretch goal, then keep an eye out because it will be coming out to a drive-through fiction near you at some point in the near future.
Nice.
And that's what I do when I'm not running games. I am writing them. My name's Travis. I've been he, they, and I will be back here this time next week. We are off for the rest of the holiday season for my Scarred Land stream on Wednesdays. We just had our sort of mid-season break episode last night, so we will be returning with that in January, but I'll be back here this time next week for more Aberrant Vigilance. I love how this has come together so far. I cannot wait to introduce the additional character, Bianca's character, into the mix shortly here. And let me remind you before I forget that if you are enjoying what you're seeing, for at least like the next several days, the second edition Trinity Continuum products are all 90% off in PDF over DriveThruRPG. I just threw that link in the chat.
Thanks.
Our current Kickstarter is Sidereals for Exalted 3rd Edition. Please head over and check that out. And in the meantime, get your shots, take care of yourselves and each other, and we will see you again real soon.
Bye, everybody.
Take care, y'all.